Hello, fellow fans. I'm Mark. And united with me is my co-host, the zealous Bryan. What up, Bryan?
Hey, everyone.
On the last episode, Bryan and I discussed the world of movie special effects with two VFX artists that worked on Spider-Man No Way Home. Thank you, special guests, Mandy and Alex. We appreciate it. Check it out if you're curious about that world. We had a lot of fun doing that episode. Special artwork was created for that episode by artist Julia. You can find the art on our Instagram as well as on the artist page, Julia Roman, YSZYN. Check us all out and give us some likes. On this week's episode, Bryan and I will be discussing our Winter Olympics movie Rushmore. Rushmore. I don't know why I gave it an epic, or an echo. It felt right. Now, ready the Olympic torch as United We Fan starts now.
The truth is, I am Iron Man.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good.
What is going on? What are you doing?
To infinity and beyond!
This is the way.
The flux capacitor.
Is Star Wars the one with the little wizard boy?
Chewie, we're home.
Avengers!
Assemble.
Oh, chills. Literal chills.
Hello, fellow fans. Thank you all for uniting with us as we talk about all things fandom. Please give us a rate or review wherever you listen so we can unite with more fans out there. UWF is partnered up with This Diz Life family. Lots of wonderful podcasts and live shows with them. Bryan, tell our listeners what to expect from the weirdos and the babus.
First Mightiest Weirdos, this past week, we did an epic ranking of all MCU projects 1 through 32, starting at 32, working our way down to 1. A lot of fun was had. A lot of words were exchanged. It was a blast. We've got Moon Knight coming up at the end of March. We're going to be doing all kinds of brackets and everything for March Madness. We're doing an MCU 101, Babu's Frickin' Podcast. We just finished up talking about the book of Boba Fett. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi coming in just a couple of weeks as well, starting on May 25th. So a lot happening over at This Diz Life when it comes to Star Wars and Marvel, plus all the parks stuff that they have going on as well.
Bryan, give our listeners a little, maybe one little hot take from the rankings just to get them interested so they can be like, okay, that's where you had that one. I need to listen now.
I put Black Widow at 15th, which is in the top half.
That'll get people that'll get people in there. All right. Check them all out. And I mean, you mentioned Book of Boba Fett. Season 1 just ended, and I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. I know some Star Wars fans, shocker, have a lot of thoughts on it. I thought the ending was great. So I have no complaints about the Book of Boba Fett. We just did a poll on our Instagram. Check us out on Instagram if you would like to participate, where I asked everybody, which one do you like more, Book of Boba Fett or Rise of Skywalker? And Book of Boba Fett is running away. Rise of Skywalker is not highly thought of. So,
did you say the end of the Book of Boba Fett was great? Is that the word you used?
Yeah, why?
I'm just surprised. It's not the word I would have used. I thought it was fine. I didn't love the end, but great's just not the word I would have used.
Okay, fine. Yes, it was not. It was not the end all be all of greatness, but I thought it was great for the show.
That's fair.
It was great for on par with what the show was.
Go Power Rangers!
Man, the biker Power Ranger gang. Just looking back on that slow paced chase, that was maybe a little
tough to swallow. Yep.
Yeah, that was a tough one to swallow. And then talking about Marvel. Over on Disney Plus, hit streaming service, assembled not only 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, I went LeBron on that. Assembled, we got Hawkeye and Eternals. Hawkeye was a lot of fun, highly recommended, especially if you were a fan of Rogers the Musical. I was. We got a little extra on that. So that was fun. Eternals, I enjoyed it. it made me appreciate a lot more about the movie, but it also confirmed even more that Eternals would have worked better as a Disney Plus series because there's so much rich material there. I hope we get Eternals 2 just so that they don't have to do any more backstory and setups. We can just focus on them. But Brian, what did you think? Did you get to check out either of them yet?
Druig sucks.
He does, sir.
He does suck.
I
love that.
I just do not like the character of Druig. I'm going to be honest. Though, anytime Eternals comes up, I've got to play that. I have not actually caught either of these. I've just been so busy at work. I love the Marvel Studios assembled. Shang-Chi might be my favorite one. Of course, the WandaVision one, absolutely fantastic as well. But I'm excited to get to them. I've heard very good things about the Eternals one. I'm a lot higher on that film than most people. But again, I can see kind of where you're coming. I think it really feels like these characters were introduced so they can pop up in other projects. I don't know if we're ever going to get an Eternals 2, but I'm interested, if nothing else. But I love the character of Black Knight, and I'm excited for that more than anything coming out of that film. So is there anything Black Knight, Kit Harington, Blade related in the assembled episode of Eternals?
I am going to say watch and find out.
All right.
What I will say is there was the Gilgamesh section. I love Gilgamesh, still my favorite character in the movie. They gave him a lot of love, but good for you bringing up the Shang-Chi assembled. Shang-Chi has not weakened at all over time. I love that movie so much. Watch it with the audio commentary. Brian can tell you how much trouble I had accessing the filmmaker's audio commentary on Disney Plus. I had to change the audio settings. So Disney Plus, like, I don't know what you're going for there. But anyways, yeah. Marvel's Assembled. Check it out. Sticking with Disney. Why not? That's a weak segue. Rescue Rangers. We just got a preview. And I was not blown away. The concept was cool. I love the different animation styles. That was funny, especially with Seth Rogen. Brian, you do a pretty good Seth Rogen, don't you? Oh, that's so good. I love Andy Samberg, and John Mulaney is funny to me, especially as Peter Porker. But as Chip and Dale, I was taken out of the moment from them. As soon as they started talking, I got taken out of it. And then Gadget wasn't even in the preview. Where's Gadget? So I'm still gonna go see the movie. Love that show. It's on Disney Plus. Check it out. But the preview did not blow me away like I wanted it to.
Without Gadget, it tells me that there's some sort of surprise that they're building with Gadget, whether it's who's voicing her or what she's up to. Jessica Rabbit style stuff, maybe. I really don't know, but yeah, no Gadget was weird. I mean, Zipper and Monterey Jack were there, which is important. I'm with you. The John Mulaney and Andy Samberg's voices coming out of those two characters was a bit jarring. I think I'll be able to adjust because I love both of those guys and I love both of those two characters. I don't think I'm going to have too much of an issue adjusting. I think it's laugh out loud funny that Dale got the CGI work done and he looks completely different than Chip. Like, I thought that was funny. I'm in on the Lonely Island guys. I think Andy Samberg's hilarious. So I'm going to give it a shot, but am I worried? You're friggin' right. I'm worried. I'm very concerned. And if you go back and listen to our Disney Investor Day episode when this project was announced, this was one of my Mount Rushmore of projects that were announced because I'm very excited about it. But I don't know. It's I'm a little bit nervous. It does seem like it's going to be far more irreverent than I was expecting, which might be good, might not be. We'll see. So I don't know, but I'm going to watch it, but I'm worried.
Yeah, we'll check it out. And then sticking with, check out this segue. Here we go. Sticking with Disney via Marvel. We're going to talk about real quick. Netflix Marvel is leaving Netflix. Nice. Do we think at the end of the month, thank you. Do we think it's going to pop up on Hulu, which is also Disney?
It has to go somewhere. Like, I didn't think that this was an option. I thought they were Netflix produced and therefore it wasn't ever going to happen. So I mean, you're bringing up Kingpin and Hawkeye. You're getting people to a competitor streaming service to watch these shows. Now you almost timed it perfectly that you're going to be able to capitalize on that as well. I just want Disney Plus Hotstar like the rest of the world has. Like, I'm just, let's get rid of Hulu and give me different levels of Disney Plus. And I understand we can't and whatever. I just can't wait till 2024 when Disney owns Hulu outright and we can do that. But I would expect Hulu to be the landing place for it. I don't think it'll be on Disney Plus because we're just not structured for it, and it's got to go somewhere. I don't think they're just going to go away, especially using Charlie Cox in Spider-Man No Way Home, and then wherever else he's going to pop up, and then Kingpin, obviously in Hawkeye, and probably not done yet. I wouldn't think so. They've got to go somewhere for people that really want to catch up.
Check it out. Daredevil is easily in my Mount Rushmore of superhero shows of all time. I almost done marathoning it real quick before it leaves. Checked out The Defenders. It made me want to revisit Luke Cage, Punisher, and Jessica Jones, but I sadly won't have time. So if you get a chance, check it out. Totally worth it. Sticking in the comic book world, we got The Batman, Robert Pattinson's The Batman, coming out on March 4th. So a little bit after this episode premieres. I'm excited. AMC decided to slap the artisan label on it, so which is given to strong character and story films. So I thought that was interesting. I think it's going to be epic, but I also think it's not going to be what everyone is expecting.
I genuinely do not know where I stand on this film anymore. I've been very excited, but I'm still very excited. But the amount of information that they're putting out there, they don't really seem to be playing anything close to the vest, and I don't understand what they're doing. I am glad it's not a Batman origin film. We're not going to have to see Martha and Thomas Wayne get killed in an alley again. But
how do you know that name, Brian? How do you know that name, Martha? Sorry,
I don't even know how to respond.
I'm
excited about the film. It's like 3 hours long, which I mean is what it is. If it doesn't drag, then I'm fine with the length of the film. But it's just, I don't know. Like I'm starting to get a little worried that they're pushing it harder than it's worth. I guess I don't know. I'm nervous.
I'm over here avoiding all the music scores and clips they keep releasing. I'm like, stop it right now.
I do expect it to be very good. That's just full stop. I do expect the movie to be very, very good.
Sticking with DC, Peacemaker. Ended recently, season 1. So, James Gunn, thank you for Peacemaker. I loved it. And that intro, that is definitely in there of Mount Rushmore of intros that you don't skip. So, Peacemaker, watch it if you haven't. Brilliantly done.
That show, yeah. And then when they dropped in the theme song in the middle of the last episode, when they just went tearing through the people, it was fantastic. That show is weird and crazy and all in the right ways. I thought that show was an absolute blast, and I'm so excited it's coming back for a season 2.
Yay. Let's see. The Super Bowl did happen. I was rooting for the Bengals, but then more stories that I keep hearing from the Rams. There were some good stories that came from that, from some of those players winning it. So I'm not that upset. It was a good game. We finally had a Super Bowl that was entertaining. That halftime show was legendary. And there was a lot of good previews. That Doctor Strange one is extremely popular. You got the Disney Plus Goats commercial. That was kind of funny. Scarlett Johansson had her Amazon commercial. So a lot of good stuff. Brian, was the Super Bowl a touchdown for you, or was it a little bit of a fumble?
Feeling hot.
Oh,
The halftime show was fine. Like, it's not the greatest thing to have ever happened. I love every artist that made an appearance, but it's not the greatest halftime show in the history of halftime shows.
it is top 10 worthy.
Well, top 10, sure, but there's only been 56 of them. Like,
So what?
the other thing is everybody on Twitter that complains every year about how the Super Bowl is for old people, like, now no longer have that criticism. It's because we're now all old people.
Good morning. I'm Wilfred Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes.
So that's a little bit depressing when you look back on it that way. The game was fine. The commercials were okay. Like, there was no like amazing commercial after amazing commercial. Really, after halftime, there wasn't any good in the second half. The Lord of the Rings trailer, I'm all in on
so
that
good.
show. I think that trailer.
I think the trailer was okay.
The trailer wasn't stellar, but it also,
Yeah.
like, we've still got 7 months to go before the show appears, so people are going to get real sick of Game of Thrones or of Lord of the Rings. But I'm super stoked for it. The Doctor Strange trailer was a surprise, to be sure, but a welcome one. I thought we would get something from Thor: Love and Thunder. We didn't.
Obi-Wan.
I really thought we were going to get an Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer, and then when Ewan McGregor popped up in another commercial, I was really disappointed.
That was funny. So, well, I mean, if we're doing hot takes, I'll stick with it.
Feeling hot.
There we go. Peacemaker was a better written and balanced show overall than all but one of the Marvel MCU Disney Plus shows. The one being WandaVision, I think was, but even WandaVision, that epic battle at the end was kind of anticlimactic for me. But I think Peacemaker was better balanced, didn't have as weak shows or ones we could have maybe done without, or rush storylines like, say, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, or Hawkeye. I think Peacemaker gave Marvel a run for their money and showed them how a very well-balanced series could look like, or should look like.
I think I do not disagree with that statement at all, actually. I think Peacemaker running for 8 episodes instead of 6 really helped balance things out. It also, balance is the perfect word that you brought up. They didn't try to wrap up the storyline with his dad and the main storyline in one episode. They wrapped up the storyline with his dad in episode 7 and then the other things in episode 8. Disney Plus has struggled with that penultimate episode, the one before the finale, leaving so much left to be tied up that either stretching it out into 8 episodes or whatever it would take, but balance. Peacemaker was not rushed whatsoever. They fit everything into that final episode that they needed to, and obviously it's getting a season 2, so I do expect, had it not been renewed, it would have ended just a little bit differently, but I don't disagree with that statement at all.
Woo! Everyone, I thought I was going to upset Bryan so much, but yay! So, moving on, some sad news. Filmmaker Ivan Reitman passed away recently. Director of Ghostbusters, Stripes, Kindergarten Cop, Twins, Dave, which I think is a underrated comedy. Dave with Sigourney Weaver and Kevin Kline. So check that one out. Also, the comedic, I don't know if it's a guilty pleasure or misfire for some, Junior with Arnold Schwarzenegger being pregnant. That one's out there. And then another guilty pleasure from him was 6 Days, 7 Nights with Harrison Ford. Just him being Harrison Ford.
I forgot about that movie.
Yeah. And then I like Evolution. He did that one. Could it have been better? Yes, but I enjoy Evolution. So Ivan Tuki.
What is Sean William Scott up to nowadays?
He's doing his best.
I don't know.
The guy had to get out of Stifler's shadow and he tried his best, but everybody just wanted him to be Stifler. So
I love Evolution. Like, I love Evolution so much.
So let us know if you think you'd want us to do an Ivan Reitman episode. I'm down for that. Like I said, Meatballs, Kindergarten Cop, Dave, Stripes, all these good ones. So,
Oh, and Ghostbusters.
and Ghostbusters, and 1 and 2, and the Ray Parker music video for Ghostbusters. So all that good stuff. So Ivan Brightman, thank you. Also recently, everyone, I have to apologize. I forgot to shout out a very special birthday on our last episode, and I will not let that mistake go again. John Williams on February 8th.
Who?
I hate you. I hate you so much. Turned the age of 90, John Williams. So it was just announced recently that he'll be doing the theme for the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. He's also hard at work on Indiana Jones 5. Yes, it's still coming. And then the next Steven Spielberg flick, Fableman. I can't wait for that one. So John Williams, happy birthday. Huge fan. He's been my number one artist several years running on my Spotify wrap up. So happy birthday, Johnny Williams. And then let's see, real quick movie reviews. Shout out if you want to know more of our movie reviews and thoughts on TV shows as well as other reviews. Check us out on Twitter at United We Fan Podcast. Recently, I saw Best Picture nominee Belfast, directed by Kenneth Branagh, who did Thor. For all you Marvel fans out there, I loved Belfast, every minute of it. If West Side Story doesn't win Best Picture, which I highly doubt it will, I will be more than okay with Belfast winning Best Picture, but I am worried that it's not going to, and the Oscars are going to be very boring and predictable this year. Also, I saw The King's Man. Brian, did you see The King's Man?
I have not. I've only seen the first one, actually. That's the only one of that series that I've seen.
It's on Hulu and HBO, and it felt like a bunch of segments they tried to tie together, force together.
They played the trailer before Encanto when I went and saw that with my children. So the dude comes flying up the rope and then slashes a guy across the face with a sword. But yeah, that's what I know about The King's Man.
All right, that's okay. The movie, there's some weird stuff in that movie. Watch it, but it should have been better, especially with the 2 previous Kingsman movies. I know we're getting another one, so hopefully it returns to form.
I like the first one a lot.
First one is so good. So good. All right. Well, that's Mark and Brian's World News. Like I said, follow us out on Instagram and Twitter if you'd like more up-to-date fun stuff and polls. And then on this episode, Brian and I will be Brian Random Rushmore.
The game where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
So for everyone playing at home, Random Rushmore is my way to get Brian to name top 4 items while hopefully catching him off guard because he's a smarty pants. This episode has to do with the Winter Olympics, so this Random Rushmore has absolutely nothing to do with the Winter Olympics, sports, Olympics, goodwill, teamwork, nothing like that. So Brian, coming soon, the Brian biography, the man, the myth, the legend, Brian, biography movie. Who are your 4 actors that we could who's on your wish list to play Brian, your Rushmore?
What a horrible movie that would be. My life
I'd watch it.
Not that interesting.
I'd watch it.
People that could portray me on film, depending on what part of my life. I guess Chris Farley's no longer an option. Let's go with how I view myself, Brad Pitt.
What?
How funny I think I am, Ben Stiller.
What?
How athletic I think I am, Pedro Pascal.
What?
And what I actually am, Michael Cera.
I need to watch this movie. All right. That did not disappoint, Brian. For me, I'm going to go Paul Rudd, Simon Pegg.
Paul Rudd from The Shrink Next Door, Paul Rudd?
Oh, God. No, Brian, you scared me away from finishing that show.
I never finished it either. It was too uncomfortable.
God. All right. So Paul Rudd, Simon Pegg, Oscar Isaac. I know I'm nowhere near good looking enough to have Oscar Isaac play me, but he's so talented he can find a way to lower himself. Next up, I couldn't decide if I love Sterling K. Brown. I didn't know if I wanted him or out of left field, Jennifer Lawrence. Just watching some Jennifer Lawrence interviews, I go, Jennifer Lawrence could play me in a movie. So, you know what? I'm going to go Jennifer Lawrence. All right. So Paul Rudd, Simon Pegg, Oscar Isaac, and Jennifer Lawrence to play this guy, Mark, in his biography, Marked for Life.
We just talked about Taron Egerton in The Kingsman. I mean, that's what I would have gone with for you.
See, I'm not that good looking either. And then after seeing him in Rocket Man and Eddie the Eagle, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about Eddie the Eagle. That would be a good choice. God, the guy can sing. He was robbed of an Oscar nomination for Rocket Man. I digress. But anyways, that's our random Rushmore. Let us know your thoughts, maybe who you would have play you in a biography. Would you watch our biography movies, the Mark and Bryan story? So let us know. But yes, in this episode, Brian and I will be talking about our Rushmore of Winter Olympic movies. It's 4 films with the Winter Olympics just wrapping up. Some of you may be cold from them leaving you. All right, hang on. Let me try again. The Winter Olympic Games just ended, and you all may be feeling the chill from the lack of game to watch. Fine. All right. Brian and I are going to talk about 4 films that, go well to fill that void after the Winter Olympics. And Brian, you know what? Shout out to 2 films that won't be talked about. I, Tonya came out 2017, currently sitting at a 7.5. Brian, I know you love my IMDb. 7.5 on IMDb. I think that's low. I give it an 8. That movie is brilliant. It will blow you away. Tonya Harding.
Streaming on Hulu.
On Hulu. So Margot Robbie plays Tonya. She's Oscar nominated. I would have been perfectly okay with her winning. Her transformation is brilliant. Allison Janney, for all you West Wing fans, won a supporting actress playing her mom. Sebastian Stan is in it, and very un-Sebastian Stan in it. So check it out. I believe this shout out will go to Mark from This Diz Life. The Cutting Edge, a figure skating movie, is a guilty pleasure of mine. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So just 2 Winter Olympic shout outs. Brian, you have any shout outs before we get to our 4 flicks?
Blades of Glory with John Heder and Will Ferrell.
Is this horse shampoo?
Yes, it is.
Do you use this stuff on your hair?
Uh-huh.
For a lustrous coat. Does this actually work?
You bet your ass it does. Makes my hair shine like Orion's belt out on the ice.
I need to go back and watch that movie, seeing how much joy it brings you. Thinking about it makes me laugh. What a fun concept. So to start the games, we're going to go back to 1993.
Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's bobsled time.
Cool Runnings, coming out in 1993, currently sitting at a 7 flat on IMDb. Brian, you going over or under on 7.0?
I can see why it's rated a 7.0. I'd personally give it like a 7.5 or an 8, but I boosted that extra point just on nostalgia alone.
Yeah, I'm going to go 7.8. Why? Because I can. So 1993. My one thing about this movie is John Candy. This was just a brilliant role for him. Probably his best performance. Shout out to Uncle Buck. I love him in Uncle Buck, but I think he should have been nominated for a supporting actor. And I will preach on that just to give all my fellow film nerds like, well, who was nominated that year for Oscars? It was a very tough year. I'll give you that. The winner was Tommy Lee Jones for The Fugitive, and I have no problem with him winning that, but also nominated Leonardo DiCaprio, Leo, for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Ray Fiennes for Schindler's List, which, good Lord, he could have arguably won for that movie. Now, here's where I would have arguably put John Candy possibly in place of the two remaining. John Malkovich for In the Line of Fire. Don't get me wrong, his performance is masterful in The Line of Fire, but John Candy, I could have seen over that one. Or and I apologize to the next actor, Pete Postlethwaite, for In the Name of the Father.
Who?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I've seen In the Name of the Father in my defense, but John Candy, I think, deserved a nomination over possibly one or the other. Would he have won? No. Like I said, Leonardo, Tommy Lee, or Ray Fiennes should have won, could have won over him. But John Candy, I would have nominated you.
The
But
biggest news
Cool
in that
Runnings.
to me is Leonardo DiCaprio was being nominated back in 1993.
Right. That was little Leo.
No wonder The Revenant, like, he literally cried forever.
Oh, those memes. Anyways, so he also should have won for Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes,
I understand. For the Revenant, he should have won, but Wolf of Wall Street, he also should have won. But that's a long, Brian, I feel like we need to do a Leonardo DiCaprio episode where just every once in a while we have Doctor Strange just popping in there with Leo. So, anyways.
Dr. Evil, not Doctor Strange.
Oh, did I say that? Oh. Right. That's my bad. Yeah, that's my bad. Oh, yep. All right, I'll go put on my cone of shame as Brian talks about Cool Runnings and why the movie still holds up all this time. And if you need a refresher in that, it's on the hit streaming service, Disney Plus.
Cool Runnings is a lot of fun. I always I'm in my mid 30s now, and I still, how about I draw a line down the middle of your head so it looks like a butt. I will remember that line for the rest of my life. I think that's hilarious. I think Senka's a funny character. Just everything around, I don't know what's true and what's not from their backgrounds, and I haven't done a ton of research on that on my own, but the way they, especially with the television coverage, that way they filter in actual television coverage from their bobsled runs, and the way they work that into the film, I like a lot about that. I mean, I know it's a movie, so it took liberties in certain places, but overall, I think it tells a good, fun story. And the fact that they went back to the Olympics in 1992, which was just the year before this movie came out, which from my research, I believe this movie was heavily marketed during that. And then the fact that the Jamaican bobsled team was back in the Olympics this year was really, really cool. I think that movie's great. I'm with you. I think John Candy, one of the most underrated actors out there. Obviously, having passed away now, we could have gotten a lot more from him over the last 20-something years that we just unfortunately were robbed of. But I love John Candy. I love that scene that he has in the conference room where he talks about I cheated, good. and they reinstate the team. I think that's the scene you're talking about when he could have been nominated for supporting actor.
So good. Brian, when it comes to bobsled, do you watch it on the Winter Olympics? Is that an event that you enjoy watching?
I mean, I actually like the 2-man bobsled a lot more. I struggle with the 4-man bobsled just because, like, what do they all do? Like, they're literally there for the push start. But I mean, it's good. I like it. I think it's super fun. I've done a luge like in the summer on an official bobsled track in Park City, Utah.
Oh,
so I think that's pretty fun. Like, it's cool. Like, it's way cool. But if you say I could watch bobsled or luge, I would probably choose luge personally.
See, Brian, I was about to ask you, if you had a chance to ride along on a bobsled, would you?
100%. I would love to do that.
Do you have a favorite Winter Olympic sport? Mine is definitely curling.
I can get behind the American men's curling team. They're fun. But for me, it's hockey. I mean, especially when the NHL players are playing, which they didn't this year. Yep. Hockey's the best one.
That's a good call. But yeah, Cool Runnings still holds up. Spoiler alert. Burp, 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 burp. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm going to spoil the ending. When I still get on the edge of my seat when you see that screw coming loose. You're like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then you have the music and the announcer like, they're on a record pace. They're going to do it. And then that screw just pops off. And then they go to like real footage of them coming in for that crash landing and then carrying the bobsled. And then John Candy like giving them a hug at the end. Chills. I have chills talking about it. But I
think that's where the liberties came in of I don't think they carried the bobsled. I think that's the biggest thing that they portray in the film that I don't think happened from what I found of the official run on YouTube. I don't think they carried the bobsled, but other than that, I'm with you.
Whatever. It made for a great movie. Every once in a while, I'll still say kiss the lucky egg. And I have definitely pumped myself up in the mirror, just like they do in the movie.
I see pride. Can't hear you. I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off of nobody. Once again. I see pride. Junior. I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take no crap off of nobody. That's right.
From that also is one of the most unplanned comedic moments when Disney edits the language in that scene. It's pretty hilarious if you ever get a chance to watch the Disney edited version. So
I just love when Senka comes over the bar.
Excuse me, Missy.
I want to say about this film, absolutely epic Mount Rushmore of slow claps that happens at the end of the film.
I feel bad every time somebody brings up a slow clap. I think of Not Another Teen Movie, so that's bad. But yes, slow clap all the way. Chills. They're multiplying whenever I watch this movie. Holds up well. But did you all know that same year, and this segues to our next movie, there was another magical story unfolding of Eddie the Eagle. We're going to go to 2015, the Taron Egerton, Hugh Jackman movie of Eddie the Eagle, which I believe, Brian, that's on Disney Plus as well, right?
It is.
Yay. 7.4 on IMDb. I would give this one, I watched this on a flight. I ended up watching it like a little bit later on the same flight. It's so good. Watch this movie, people. 7.4, I would give it a 7.6. 7.7. So, Brian, what would you give it?
You said it's 7.4 on IMDb. That's about where I would put it. This movie has absolutely no business being as entertaining and fun as it is. There's really not a lot to it, but it's just fun. And I think this movie is an absolute blast. I know nothing about the world of ski jumping, so that definitely
scary. That's what it is.
Yeah, no kidding. The most I know about ski jumping is that episode where they put the Mini Cooper on skis in the Winter Olympics special of Top Gear. But it seems absolutely terrifying, and like I said, this movie has no business being as good as it is, and it's only like an hour and a half too, so that definitely helps. You can get in, get out, and get on with your day. It's fun. I like it.
And I love that Hugh Jackman he's so versatile, and he plays a fallen from grace athlete who, of course, takes Taron Egerton, the Eddie the Eagle, under his wing. No?
I'll give it to you.
Oh, yay! Cool.
I don't have something to play when it's actually kind of funny.
Wow, that's how rare it happens. That kind of hurts. So Hugh Jackman is brilliant in it. Taron Egerton, I loved him in this role because it was him showing that he can act. But it's a great feel-good movie. You won't have any regrets watching this movie, and I guarantee you'll watch it and go, I want to watch it again. That was so good. So Eddie the Eagle.
I just like how they didn't go too deep into taking it too seriously. They knew that people made fun of him, so that's kind of what they did, and he even kind of made fun of himself at times. But no, overall, I think Eddie the Eagle, we were talking about before we hit the record button, that he was kind of overshadowed by the Jamaican bobsled team a little bit, and I still think that that's probably the case even on Disney Plus. But I think it's a fun movie. I would watch Cool Runnings over it, but not by much.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, definitely. But check it out. I feel like this is a under the radar movie, so I'm hoping we can get it some more love out there. Taryn and Hugh, big fans. I know you both are looking for things to do right now. It's maybe a little downtime for you, but if you'd like to come on the podcast, we would love to talk to you all about Eddie the Eagle and just the fun experiences you had from that. So, Bryan, you brought up hockey. So
Hockey.
I
What
feel
made
like
you
it's
play college hockey?
college hockey. Bryan, you a cop? You got to tell me if you're a cop. Oh, The Departed, or any Boston movie that involves a cop. This is the worst. We should never do an episode on the city of Boston and movies, because you and I will just be going on long rants and just saying "quap." Ooh, Bryan, we could do that episode down by the yard. Just dig in our car and go over there and park.
I
Wicked smart.
I can't do it.
Anyways, we're going to get back on track here as we talk about Miracle, coming out in 2004. Feel-good movie about the miracle on ice, starring Kurt Russell, sitting at a 7.5. And I'm going to go ahead and guess that Bryan thinks that number is too low and is going to give it an 8.1. Bryan, where would you give this movie?
This movie is Remember the Titans on Ice.
It's better than that.
You're correct. I think it is too low. This movie gets me every time. Kurt Russell was born to play the role of Herb Brooks. He's really fantastic in that role. I like the mind games that it portrays of if they're too busy hating him, they can't hate each other. I think they did a good job at casting all those roles and how meticulous they were when they filmed, especially that final game against the Soviet Union, of if number 20 was standing on the blue line when something happened, number 20 was standing on the blue line when something happened in the movie. The attention to details that they played, and Al Michaels' call, the way they work that in throughout the film. Again, there's multiple times when you're watching this film and you Google, did this really happen? And yes, those Soviets legitimately beat the NHL All-Stars in 1979, 6-0. Just all those different kinds of things were really, really cool. And that movie it gets you going, man. Like, it's just so many emotions, and the speeches that he gives, and that scene when the lights are off and they're skating back and forth, and I'm Mike Eruzione, I play for the United States of America. It hits every single time for me.
And that was the thing about the movie. The Soviets weren't even for the gold medal. They still had one more game to get the gold medal after that. And I think that's what surprised me, was that it's leading up to this. And after that hard fought battle and just probably being worn out, they had to go out there and skate again and play another game just to get the gold medal. And oh man, I would have been heartbroken if you beat the Soviets and then you end up with like the silver. But Miracle on Ice, the film holds up. If you look into the history behind the movie, it's a movie. Of course, they're going to improve on things for whether it's story reasons, for Disney reasons. It happens, people. Let's just move on a little bit. They didn't totally erase history and recreate it, but they definitely improved on some things there. But this film, I always forget until I start watching it how much it locks me in right away, how many chills I get, how motivated I get, and then just at the end, just how good I feel. Miracle is a brilliant movie. I think even if you're not a hockey fan, God, I gotta stop doing that. If you're not a hockey fan, you're still gonna really enjoy this movie just because of the performances, the characters. You care about them, and that's what this movie does really well, is get you to care about each player. You want to root for them. You feel sad for them when they get cut and when they're getting beaten and checked into the glass. You're like, oh no, nobody, no. So
the way it's filmed, it puts you in the middle of the action. I would venture to say it's top 5 in sports action film. The way it puts you into the action. If you don't like the dramatization of it, you can on Disney Plus as well check out Of Miracles and Men. It's an ESPN 30 for 30 that is on there that tells the true story of the entire thing, and Miracle got a lot of it right. Unfortunately, Herb Brooks died just after they filmed the show, so Herb Brooks never, but at the end of the film it says he never saw it, but he lived it. Like, I think that scene when after they beat the Soviets and Kurt Russell goes into that back hallway and he's just by himself, and the way he just fist pumps both of his arms, it's emotional, man. I love it.
Yeah. And good shout out to that documentary. Check it out. Disney Plus actually has some really good sports documentaries on there.
They just recently uploaded a lot of those 30 for 30s. A lot of them are on there now, and they're really good. A lot of them are really good.
Oh, so good. But Brian, you kind of danced over something. I needed to know if I was correct on the number that you would give it.
8.5.
Man, I went low. Wow. 8.5. Good. Wow. Good for you. So we're going to stay on the ice, and we're going to go to
Blades of
D2.
Glory. Oh.
What?
Blades of Glory. That's what I want.
No, we're not going to Blades of Glory. You already mentioned Blades of Glory. Jeez, can you imagine? Oh, that should be a horror movie. Blades of Glory, when figure skating turns dark.
Not to be confused with that ping pong film, Balls of Fury.
Oh, did you actually see that movie?
I have no idea who's even in it. I know nothing about it.
Brian, your tone, it's all wrong. I'm in that movie. It's good.
D2, the Mighty Ducks.
I don't know if you even understood that reference, but here we go. Yes, D2, the Mighty Ducks. It counts. Just let us have this one for the Winter Olympics. So, came out in 1994, sitting at a 6.1 on IMDb. I am okay with 6.1.
You said it's a 6.4?
No, 1.
6.1. That's a little low for me.
Came out in 94. Yeah.
Nostalgia pushes this one hard. It's the most expensive PR stunt that Disney ever pulled in the 90s, and I'm completely good with it because they legitimately owned the Anaheim Ducks at the time.
Yeah.
I can't explain it one bit. I love this movie so much. I love it so much.
I wanted the new Mighty Ducks jersey from that movie so bad. My parents did the smart thing, did not buy me the really expensive jersey. Instead, they bought me kind of like a replica shirt because, I live in Florida. What the heck? Oh, well, never mind. I want a hockey jersey and Brian has so many. But anyways, at the time, kid me, it would not have gone well to have an actual hockey jersey. So
I own 3 jerseys from this film.
Look, I want to get a, District 5 Mighty Ducks jersey really bad from the first movie. Brian, all right, just quick ranking. Rank the 3 movies and the TV series. Go.
Technically, the green jersey is in this film as well. So I own 4 different jerseys from this film. I have the green one. I have the Charlie Conway USA. I have the Gunnar Stahl Iceland jersey. And I have the Gordon Bombay white Mighty Ducks jersey that they wear at the end. The goalie! I had to work that in. What am I? I'm ranking. So it's going to be, honestly, this is my favorite Mighty Ducks film. I don't know why I love this film so much. I would put this one just over the first one. Then I would put the television show. And then I'd put D3, which again, I have zero business liking that film. And I still love that film because I just love the Mighty Ducks.
I enjoy this whole series. For me, it goes D1, D2, the series, D3. I know it's at the bottom, but D3 needs to get a little more loving. You could tell they were kind of running out of what to do, but still, whatever. D2 is good. Brian, do you have a favorite new player?
The animated Mighty Ducks show also needs a mention, but it's last. It's last.
God, the animated series. And then I remember Disney Quest RIP. You had the Mighty Ducks game based on the animated series. If you wanted to work out that game, good Lord. But Brian, do you have a favorite new player? Was it the cat? Was that your favorite?
No, I love Dwayne. Luis Mendoza, the fact that the guy, because I love the Sandlot.
Benny the Jet.
Yeah, so the fact that he can't stop is really funny. But Dwayne Robertson, the cowboy, like when he ropes the guy and he gets put in the penalty box.
Brian, I roll.
Referee taking Robertson over to the penalty box. What are they going to call this penalty? Well, it's 2 minutes for roping. That's a new one on me.
Oh my God, it hurts. It hurts so bad. But
Just don't care.
I like how Gordon Bombay, we get him, the humble guy, but then the dark side of Gordon Bombay comes back with the ego and the sponsors, and we get the slick back hair, and then he needs to learn the Disney life lesson. So, and then USA Ducks, kind of that moment of trying to get the audience and the crowd into it. The USA Ducks, it kind of hurt a little bit. It's definitely vintage Disney.
We will quack you.
I'm going to go ahead and age myself and let you know that I had that movie album on cassette tape.
Oh, man.
Before CDs, people.
Good morning. I'm Wilford Brimley, and I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about diabetes.
Okay, and then you have the Iceland team. Brian, fun fact for you.
The goalie!
Me and a couple of players on my softball team, whether we win or lose our company softball team. Oh, yeah. Fun fact, everyone. I play on a company softball team. If anyone is looking to sponsor a company softball team, this is a shameless plug. Please let us know. We would love to talk to you about sponsoring the team. But we definitely, after a game, go, let's go shake their hands. So this movie is always with me.
It makes me think of Hans and the fact that Hans wasn't in this movie.
Oh, but he came back for the next one.
Yeah, and then died. It's literally the first time. It's literally the first time in my life as a kid that I cried in a movie.
I'm so sorry, Brian. I don't mean to laugh at your pain. I'm so sorry, but dang, you just went dark with it real quick.
Don Tibbles is the worst character ever. We talk about the goalie line and also the part where, "Hello there, Missy. How about a bear hug?" I will remember that line forever. But the next jersey I will purchase from this film is a Trinidad and Tobago jersey.
Oh, that's such a cool. Again, it's on the poster for a reason. Yeah, man. It's such a cool jersey. Brian, I need to get a hockey jersey from this movie so bad. It was a little bit of lazy writing, having very similar villains of Iceland and the Hawks with colors and all that. But, what can you do? But Brian, if you had to think a harder opponent for the Flying V, was it Iceland or the Hawks? I think for me, the Hawks had a more interesting backstory with Bombay being a star player for them and then wanting revenge against the coach who just, oh my God, if you go back and watch the first Mighty Ducks movie, the things that coach says to him as a kid, good Lord. But Iceland, Brian, let me ask you this. Did you get a little side eye still when the one assistant coach from the Iceland team goes on a date with Gordon Bombay? Do you think that was all just to get into their minds, or do you actually think there was some interest?
They never answer that question. I was going to ask you. I think it is just to get into Bombay's head because they literally never speak again. But then when he shows up late to that game against Germany and he kisses Miss McKay on the cheek, it's this is weird.
Where did that
and then
come
they
from?
constantly hug, and I feel bad for Charlie because Charlie's mom is supposed to be, I don't know,
just got dropped.
Yeah,
he asked her, "How's your mom?" She's good. All right, that's it for that storyline.
yeah, but all the love stories are very interesting. But yeah, I think that the Iceland trainer is only out to distract Bombay, and I mean, I guess it kind of works, but I don't know, but I'm with you. They are basically the Hawks, but Wolf the dentist Stanson is just as easy to hate.
What a good name,
Coach Riley from that guy's a dentist. But so he's a dirtbag, man, and
oh yeah.
But anyway, he's super easy to hate. I get it; it's nostalgia. I don't know why. I love this film so much.
Shout out to that movie. I took up rollerblading because of D2. You can still catch me rollerblading here and there, not as much anymore. But wow, that movie got me into ice skating. Whenever I could, I loved ice skating. Of course, at first I was awful. And even rollerblading. So thank you, D2, for getting me into all those fun sports.
My parents always were very upset at the hoodlums riding through the Mall of America. on their rollerblades stealing old man hats.
Youths. That concludes our Rushmore. So we had D2, Miracle, Cool Runnings, and Eddie the Eagle. So check them all out. Highly recommend them. And yeah, Disney Plus. Good Lord, did we pump Disney Plus a whole lot this episode? But it's worth it because Disney Plus has a whole lot of good stuff. That concludes this episode. We thank you, fellow fans, for uniting with us. For those listeners who want to get in touch with the show, please do so. Brian, tell our listeners how they can message the show and stay up to date on everything UWF.
You can find us on Instagram at UnitedWeFan_podcast, on Twitter at UnitedWeFanPod, and on Facebook at United We Fan the podcast, part of this Diz Life's group on Facebook as well.
Yes, please check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We put a lot of fun stuff on there, and we just love hearing from you all. And thank you again. So give us a rate, review, listen, download, whatever you can to help us so that we can unite with more fans out there. We appreciate it. Till we unite again, fans, you're all gold medalists to us. Thank you.